All right, guys. So somehow, I got into Cameroon. Okay. Now I left Cambodia the July the 30th. Yeah, I remember that very well. Actually, I was supposed to leave on the 26th. The devil didn't want me to leave. I got delayed on the airport. I missed my flight. Then 3, 4 days after, my flight was rescheduled. Then I took a flight. Finally, I was having some issues with immigration, but it was all sorted out. Praise God, and I boarded a flight to Bangkok. On getting to Bangkok, I was eager. I was like, really, this is me. Okay, for a long time I haven't traveled, and it's been very, very interesting life, and I so wanted to do a lot of things with my life because I feel like it's not enough to just have Alaska Spice. Alaska Spice should be able to do something. So with my eagerness and desires, I put myself into a lot of studies. Little money I earn, I put into Alaska Spice. Man, it's not no, like really running a company is not as easy as anyone think. Like you make money, like the little money you make, you calculate how much you put into your company first, even before you consider yourself. So I have been at least putting in some money into Alaska Spice, trying to get Alaska Spice on, because I really want Alaska Spice to be a brand that everyone know. Big brands like you have the likes of Mavi Records or G Worldwide. These are companies that I find, but they're doing something different from what I really wanted to do. At first, I'm not gonna lie about it. I wanted to do secular music, you know. But then in 2015, when I was planning towards it, I was working towards it, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, this is what I needed to do. Then things took on the different directions. But in that process, I got the revelations that if you could praise me with your talent, you will go long, far than where you think you could go. If you could use your talent to praise my name and worship me, you will go far beyond your mate. When I heard these words, I thought I was I was I was high because I was, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was smoking. I'm sorry to my parents, my family. I mean, they didn't know that I did that, but what do you expect? Over a decade, almost a decade of me being alone in the world, and I have nobody, not nobody was with me. I was making decisions myself. I didn't want to smoke actually, but it was more of like at that point of my life, I knew I needed to find something. I knew that I'm not okay where I am. No matter how good or comfortable I might be at that position. I was not comfortable inside of me because I wanted more. So in aspect of thinking, I lost myself. I didn't know what I was doing for at least 3 years. I was just floating, and people took huge advantage of me, and I didn't know what I was doing. Basically, I didn't know what I was doing. But thank God, at that point, revelation started coming. Everyone I come across at that point of my life has a message for me. Everyone at that point of my life has a message for me. And the message is, if you get back to God, everything will be fine. And that took me back to 2012 in Aoshi, where I was in Aoshi Poly, and I was sleeping. No, that was first. It was in Sapele. It was off school season, and I mean period semester, and I went home, and I've always been in the church. I've always loved God, but not the way I understand now. So I basically like trying to find things to get close to God. And thanks to my brother, is a tremendous instrument. I remember when he came to me in Okpara in I think it's 2002. He said to me, "Pack your bag. You're living with me to Sapele right now. You have a great destiny, and I'm here to take you. You're going with me." And at that point, I was like, "Really? Just like that? I just pack my bag and leave?" Yes, but actually that point is a testimony for me, because one of the guys in town at that time, they call him Undertaker, sent a message to me that we're gonna have a fight. If it's a gun, if it's a cutlass, anything I have, I should prepare. So he sent two boys to me that day. And this guy is my mate. Like, we hang out together. What was the issue? Nothing. It's like he told, practically heard that I told people that in refinery in Warri where I used to work in, like in hustle in Warri, like we were trying to survive. I've always tried to do one or two things to survive my life, you know. So in the refinery, I joined through another friend, one of my brother from Semokbara, is my namesake Kewe. Introduced me to buying of fuel from the depot, then sell to consumers, people who have cars to buy and that. So I take money to go there, buy the fuel from the depot, and bring out, then sell to people outside. Actually, the business was good because there were people who, I'm sure it's still going on right now if they stay alive. There were people who basically just go there. I mean, you see tens of cars parked outside, and it was really good. And at the little boy of that age, I was really young at that time, I was making that money without even telling my parents. They just thought I was just leaving the house, going to hang out. But I was doing that. Then the dream of traveling abroad came. And I was like, okay, once I finish my school, I need to leave because I want more from what was around me. So I left. Back to the testimony. So because I felt it was comfortable when I was doing it, a few of my friends didn't know at that time. So I kind of like mentioned the word that I'm not the only one doing it, that even Undertaker, Volke, that's his name. I have not seen him for many years anyway. So it was just a conversation, and with my free mind, I just mentioned it. So when he got upset, so I went to him. I was like, look, we are like brothers. In fact, my mom at that time and his father were really good friends, and everyone knew that. And we hung out together. We belonged to the same football team, which was Niger Delta United with Coach Roland. And we hung out together, so I thought we were brothers. Like, dude, I tried to apologize. Like, okay, if you're offended that I reviewed that as a secret, it was not really a big thing. But Voke didn't take my apology, so he wanted to have a fight with me. And I know that he's good at what he's doing, so he felt like he wanted to put me down. So, and at that point, I was like, okay, I have to fight for myself too. So I went to my father's room. I saw his old used gun and a very big machete. And I really wanted to defend myself. So I took the gun and the machete. I put the machete and I left the gun because if I take the guns out, my dad is going to find out. So I left the gun there. So I took the machete. I put it in there. So one of my friends, a girl who hang out with me in the house together, she saw it. She like, what are you doing with this? I don't know. I'm just going to keep it and do something. I mean, probably I just made up a story. So I kind of like, yeah, so that was it. So that Sunday, my brother came to get me to leave Okpara Island for Sapele that Sunday. And the evening of that Sunday, I was waiting for the fight. Who knows what could have happened? So I actually, when I heard the sound of my brother's car, and I was still asleep, so I got up. That point, that's when God came to rescue me. Because what I have made up my mind to do that day is that one of us is going to die, or one of us is going to be seriously injured. In fact, the boy he sent to me a day before that Saturday, I was almost attacking him. Like, no, I'm strong. I could do. It's just that I try not to do those things. Doesn't mean that I'm stupid or I'm a coward. So I wanted to stand out for myself. So when he came in that 2002, and he's like, you're leaving, I was like, shoot. And my brother is someone I respect, and he was not alone. As a witness, he came with one of blessed memory that one of my sister's husband, Agboko, I forgot his other name, but may soul rest in peace. While my brother was talking to me, he left. This man said the same thing, like, bro, you have a bright future and you better listen to your brother. I was like, why, who am I to say no to my brother? I just went in there. My friend was in there, a girl. I like, look, I'm living right now with my brother. She said nothing, like, good luck. She's happy because she knew, it's like she had an idea what was coming. So I left for Sapler and I was introduced in the Winners Chapel. I was into the church because I've always loved God. Even when I didn't know much about God, I've always loved God. I was there in the field. I was introduced into the foundation class, and that was it. I went inside it. They made an altar call. I came. I gave my life to Christ, but not really the way it should be. But at least I was happy that I made that step. I started attending foundation classes. I started doing Bible studies. I started reading Bible on my own for the first time, and I started learning ways of God. Then I realized that. I have a future. Suddenly that awareness of myself came, that I could be what I want to be. But I was like, how? So at that point, I was still depending so much on people, especially my brother. All the visions, all the dreams I had, I just kept to myself. I was like, okay, it's good to do it. At a point when I was staying with everything was peaceful, I was committed, I was loyal, I respected all his rules, but not always easy. Sometimes you need to fuck up small now, make it not be like, say, yeah. So sometimes I overstepped the rules. My brother really got upset, especially when I crashed his car when I started to park, because I never drove at that time. It was my first time of driving, and I crashed his car and stuff like that. He got really upset, and I get really hurt when I see my brother who's trying to reshape my destiny getting upset. But there was nothing I could do. At that point, I didn't know how to say sorry to anybody in my life. Yes, that's the truth. To say I'm sorry seems to be a big word. I have a big pride at that time. And I noticed that he got really upset because I can't tell him sorry. And he thought I was being proud. But I realized that it's not just being proud. That I'm learning. And somehow his wife, Mama Jiro, who treated me like her own brother. She was really open to me, without her, I can't live in that home, When many cases or situations when my brother put me in a car trying to say that, look, if you're here to destroy my family, then I have to let you go. I'm only trying to help you. But I've always been a quiet boy. I just quiet, listen to him talk, and I apologize to him in the car. When I apologized to him and I realized that I could say one or two things to actually like with words, I am sorry, and be remorse and show actions of the wrongs I've done. So I find out that I was relieved, and he actually saw that action in me, that I was able to apologize. Then I said, okay, so the word sorry is more important. I started working on myself. I practiced that with friends and people, boys and girls that I meet outside. So yeah, there I was. And at some point, the dream to leave the country came. My brother honestly was not happy. I knew he had money, but he said there was no money. I don't remember how much he gave me, which was practically just a transport. But somehow I was able to raise, without anyone knowing, I was able to raise over $500,000 or close to $500,000. I'm not sure about that, but I knew I had over 400,000 in my bank account at such tender age, and in the year 2007. How I did it, I don't remember, but I was able to raise that money. I kept it in the bank. I never said anything. It's part of the little savings I made from the school money and all those things, and the petrol selling and all that. Even when I was surplus, sometimes I disappear and I do other things in order to survive. At school, I stressed myself a lot because I was working towards the vision. So when I left, finally and eventually, my dream was to play soccer. That's football. I love it. I still want to play if I have the chance. But it was more like playing football. I was so into it. I'm telling you, I was good at it. I'm still good at it, actually, if I have the chance. But the point was, I was in the midst of so many Nigerians. And I have to say this very clearly and openly, that the fact that there are so many dreams that be frustrated due to mockery, due to mockery. I repeat that, sorry. But due to mockery, due to bullying, due to lack of belief, my mom never believed me. My mom believed me at the later end after my father died. She always believed that Stanley, who's my sister's son, is better than me. And for me, I don't jealous. I've always loved Stanley, even till now. So, but I want to be there for Stanley, since my mom loved him more than me at that point. So there's nothing I can do, because I hang out with, I used to hang out with these guys, and we get into a street fight, we do all sort of stupid things. I knew she was really worried about me, and with issues from schools. Oh my God, you can't believe, I don't want to talk about how I went to school and all those secondary school days, Bara, Vu, I don't want to talk about that, but it's all long stories. I brought a lot of stress to my family, and if they are alive today, I will apologize to them, but I'm happy where I am today. So when I finally got to Cambodia, it's a entirely different place. I was alone, but my heart was so strong. And in that place, I learned to be so independent. It was really tough in the beginning that I considered going back home. But then I left Nigeria with a very young guy. And even if I'm going to go back, should I take him back because of my own or what? So he was tied to me. And basically, I was the one cooking for him because he couldn't eat the food there. Even he wants to eat Nigerian food. We don't have any of those food at that time. There were no much Nigerians around. And I was cooking for these guys. After him, two other people came to join us, and I was taking care of these people at such a young age of mine. Then I became aware of myself, that I have ability to actually look after other people. And Kenneth was so young that little things affect him emotionally. So I was there for him as a friend, as a brother, and also as a father. Sometimes I get upset, but when I get upset, things will go really bad with him. So I learned. So I used to have a temperament. I'm still working on it. I still have a bit of it in me, but it was really tough. At that point, I was learning too many things. Women, football, people, all kind of things. I was like exposed to war that I never knew. And at that point, yes, I used to lie, but I never know how to lie. So many things that I knew through all these processes, I was never used to all these kind of things. Sometimes I was traumatized, and I wanted to be out of the situation. I did so many things. I traveled, some things didn't work out, but I found out that I'm always started in that place. So I decided that I have to teach. I've taught in schools, universities, in high schools, and all kind of things. I've done all kind of jobs in order to have food at home. But in all of these things, I was not enough. I was still feeling insufficient. I was still feeling uncomfortable and incomplete. And in between, I fell in love with a girl that I wish that she remained in my life at that point. But this time, no, I'm pretty over it now. Nicole, that's her name. Girl, I think that she's golden. And while we were getting to know each other at that point, I also got to learn a lot from her, and she believed in me so much because I shared a lot of my in-depth dreams and abilities with her, and she inspired me. She encouraged me to start, and at that point I was trying to actually do something about entertainment because I love music, I love singing. My parents wouldn't let me do those things when I was younger because they feel like whoever is going to singing or music or entertainment doesn't have any career, doesn't have a life. So I was deprived from those things from when I was in primary school all the way back in Okpara, because I used to sing. And I remember while I was home with my parents. During the Okpara festival, we would make drums, we would put some costume on, we were part of every activities. I've always been part, and I've always had my gang. So I didn't know that all these things was building me up to the life in the future. So, long story cut short, I find myself back into entertainment. Why I was trying to get up, so I was looking for a spot. In the beginning, I was like a black dude all the way in the land of Asia. Nobody knows, nobody cares. Like these people, they don't even want to talk to you. How would I just come up with an idea to start up an entertainment in Cambodia? So I was not willing, but I was willing. So indecision was the problem at that time. So Nicole was the one who was pushing me between 2012. She's like, no, you've got to do something. Let's. I went after sharing the idea. So she's like, yeah, you got to do it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. In the process of trying to do that, we had issues. We broke up. And at that point, I became a madman. I had no dream no more. I was like, my conclusion was that if it was meant to be, she wouldn't have gone. But now that she's gone, it means that that dream is just a mirage. It's never going to happen. I'm not doing entertainment. So I neglected entertainment, sad and depressed, always sad. I went extra length to win Nicole back, to the point that I was even trying to secure a visa to go to Australia, to go and meet her, to let her know that I was honest, I truly love her, and I want her to be back. That even if I've ever done anything to her, I didn't do anything much. She just assumed that because I was out, I was still young and naive, you know. At that point, I was out and I met a girl from Denmark and we were just hanging out. She kissed me. I was like, no, you can't kiss me. I told you I have a girlfriend. Then there's one girlfriend of her who saw that happen and she just went straight to her. Like, I saw Henry making out with the girl, and that really broke me, and I suffered for so long because I'm not really kind of guy who jump from a girl to girl. I just prefer to have a woman and focus on the rest things because of the life I want to live, you know. So, to cut the long story short, in my sadness, I found out that entertainment is my thing, that Nicole has a life to live, and I have my own life to live as well, so I must do something. Finally, I fought that feelings and frustration and all that until 2013. And if I'm not mistaken, between 26th of August and 28th of August in 2013, I introduced African entertainment for the very first time in the history of Cambodia and the history of Nigeria. I introduced Ninja Comedy Night, and because I usually watch Monday Night Comedy in America online, so I felt like, yeah, I can do that. So I introduced Comedy Night. Seriously, I felt no one was going to be interested in my project. I was so surprised. I had the likes of Nariko, Blazy, T-Boy. Nariko is now TM Music owner. Blazy is now owner of Blazy Entertainment in Cambodia. T-Boy, he was a comedian. I think he decided to not be a comedian and he went into production. He also he has his own indoor entertainment as well, Evergate Entertainment. We had the unserious guy who's called Sly. He calls himself the top Professor Sly at that time. He still is, maybe. I don't want to talk about the rest. And who else was there? Apollo. Yes, this guy from Hausa people, you never trust them. They are fond of betrayers. Apollo is someone that I love so much. I love Apollo with my heart because I feel he had a lot of charisma, and I really wanted to work with Apollo. But when I saw the other part of Apollo, I got so irritated to the point that the seemingly little things that's not supposed to break us out, I just took that as an opportunity to ignore him. It still hurts me right now that it's someone I really, because he's older and he's traveled a lot, and I really look forward to, like, I was looking forward to having Apollo to do a lot of things. I pray for him, even till now, I pray for him, but I don't want to be friends with him. I want him changed. Apollo did so many damages to me that hurt me so much that I felt like, really, this guy that I love so much. Anyway, so I met, so, you know, in my stay in Cambodia, I met so many amazing people, like people I never thought I could meet. Very young and talented. Some had visions, some don't, some just living the life, but they're so unique. Everyone has something to bring on board, everybody. So when I notice, my eyes is always seeing the things they have in depth. Apollo doesn't believe that he has something, but I knew he has something. So I put Apollo on that comedy, which actually he came and he did his performance. At least the videos are still online. I still have them, but I didn't want to put them online because there were so many flaws and immaturity in it, but they're still part of the memory. Someday I'll put them out. Then somehow, so I was trying to assemble everybody in order to have because I followed entertainment across the world. I pick things, but I don't like copying people. But it's cut the long story short. So I decided this is what I love and I want to do it. So coming back, when I was doing, I've done shows with many people. I've done comedy shows. I've done interviews with stars and some upcoming and established. I promoted a lot of Cambodia talent and more for Africans, and I got known by people and all that. Then I got into radio. I was doing my show. They won't let me have my peace. Once I step up doing something good, people always come to attack me, and once they attack me, I leave it for them. I start something. So I was just trying so many things. I started blogging in 2010. My blog from 2010, they still exist, but I feel like blogging is too much. I don't want to do all those things. I don't want to be saucy for information. It takes so much to get information, and some of the information you get, some are not accurate. And I don't want to dent people's image just for me to have money. So I was like, okay, if this is, I wanted to do it because I admire Leader Ikeji, who broke out as one of the famous Nigeria blogger and all those things. But I went deep into it too, because what I'm interested in something, I go deep into it. So I went into deep, then I found out that they invaded people's privacy and all those things. And despite all that, everyone, I'm sorry for using Leader Ikeji actually, but I find out that I don't have that kind of conscience. I'm just gonna spoil people's career or trying to judge people. Who am I to judge people? I'm not in that position to judge anybody, and I don't want to practice such thing. So I was struggling in between. Like, I had access to all these things. I set up machineries, like people to get information from me. Like, I was getting people informations that I felt so relaxed, and I like, no. I did it only 1-2 times in 2010 to a bit of 2011. I received so many threat messages, phone calls, text, emails. They calling me all sorts of things. That people saying all sorts of things. I felt like my life was in danger. So I removed my hand from blogging, or like that kind of blogging that would put me out so fast. So when I put my hands away from that, I was not satisfied. So I went into like professional entertainment blogger. Doing this, I had boys around who I know they might not have everything, but at least they pushing, they were trying. So I was blogging about these guys. But I found out that these guys are pushing out, trying to make them stars that they truly are or that they should be. They became too pompous, like so arrogant that thank you for work I do for them with my money and my time. They make their money, they go to Nigeria, they spend money doing anything. But the little money I make, I spend it, I put in the things, I promote that. None of them could ever come back to say thank you, Harry. So at this point, I feel like I was stupid. I feel like I didn't know what I was doing. So I was really uncomfortable. They make their money, they buy flights, they go home. For more than 9 years, I've not been home. My parents don't see me. Nobody, even my mom died. I could not go. The money I had, I have to send it to them because, you know, in Africa, they expect so much money from you when you come home from abroad. So I felt like if I go home, the expectation will be too high. And if I don't meet it, people will think I'm just an underdog. And I did go home. But these guys, they even make little money than I used to make. They go home, they feel like big boy back home. So I feel like I'm being stupid. I withdrew myself. That sense of belonging, when I withdrew that, they started seeing me as a competitor. They started seeing me as an enemy. There's nothing I've not faced in the hands of these guys. You know, I've been practically, I'm sorry about that, practically reduced to nothing in the eyes of them. And they say all sort of things because I withdrew all the commitments I had with them and all those things. And at the point that I feel like, look, if you want me to do anything for you, you better pay me. If you don't pay me, I don't do anything. Or better still, if you don't ask, I don't want to do it. And that's where I started promoting myself. I can do stand-up comedy. Sometimes I'm stupid, you know. I was like, okay, I can be funny, even if I'm not, but I can try to be funny. So why not? So I joined Cambodia Comedy Club. Actually, I was one of those who actually build and put in effort to build Cambodian comedy. But those guys, they had no, the dreams they had is just too shallow for someone like me. I wanted more. I want to build more. I want to get, in fact, the highest position in the comedy. But these guys are not doing it. I felt like, okay, Odabo, bye-bye. So I left them. I started Alaska Spice. At that point, Alaska Spice had no name. But I was using this ungrateful man. There's a guy, I don't want to call his name. He knows himself whenever he sees this video. So I brought his company. He just registered something without using it at that time. So I used his company so that I could win people in. So I came up with the idea of bringing his company. I met a great guy too, who I would love to work with again, Mr. OC. OC, when I shared my vision, my ideas with him, he just buy the idea and he went into it, like, let's go. OC supported I think my second show. The first show he was there, he saw what happened, he just came as a spectator. So the second one, he was quite convinced that this guy could do something. And that was how the whole crowd came. That was June 18, 2014. 2014 in a club in Cambodia called Code Red. It was overflow. When I saw the number of people, because I was there from the beginning, because I did all the other people just come as superstar, bring big, do all that. You know, Nigerians, they like to be proud. Yeah, basically when they came and I saw that, I was like, what? That was me? I made no dollar. I mean, one single dollar I didn't make. It was towards the end that I got $250 from Code Red, which I didn't give back to them because I felt like, yeah, I did so much, so why do I give them? After all, it was all my idea. But that was the only money I made. So when I saw that, wow, from that little fund, I made 250, so I could actually make money with this. I started doing a lot of things. I've introduced my own comedy, which is Comedy Stitches. I still love to do Comedy Stitches. Comedy Stitches is going to be everywhere in the world soon. Like, I'll be taking a tour by power of God with the right time with Alaska Spice. So I brought Comedy Stitches. The first night I did Comedy Stitches was with the help of my girlfriend at that time, amazing woman I've ever known. I mean, it didn't work out well. It doesn't mean I should say shit about her, because I actually think that Eka helped me a lot. Why? Because the video editing and even when I didn't know much about it at that time, she already knew she was doing those things before I met her. And when I met Eka, it was like God sent Eka to me. So because of that, in the beginning, I really didn't like her personality. That's the truth. Because the way she wants to live her life is not the life I want. I want to live a decent and glorified life that glorifies God. Cut the long story short, Eka was another push into my career. And she was there, everything, the things started going the different way, that when God wanted me to actually turn to him, he crippled everything in my life. So at that point, I was trying to encourage her not to give up on me and not to do, but suddenly she did the worst that I ever expected. And guess what? 3 months before I was planning to engage her. Wow. And Eka at that point was the closest person to me ever in the whole world, even more than my family. Things I share with her, I never share with anybody else. And because of her, before that time, I was playing around. That's the truth. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm in front of the camera. I hope you don't, you did this anyway. Yeah. So, I started putting myself down. I realized the life I want to live. That if I really want to live this life, I must be decent. I struggle a lot with women, you know. But at that point, when I saw how much commitment she's put into us, and at that point, I'm not going to lie in front of everyone right now, but at that point, Eka was paying our rent for like about 6 months. I was not earning any money, but I was working hard. I was doing all kind of things. There's nothing anyone would tell me that I did do. The only thing I refused to do is to put my hand in bad things like drug selling and all that. But I was doing all sort of things to make sure we had money. The point that once it's almost rent, those that I felt that were my friends, I would even ask them for rent or for assist for money. Nobody was giving me money. Things just went, wow. Like bam, everything just went down. When everything went down, she felt I was dependent. I remember her saying that if she doesn't leave me, I will not stand up for myself. At some point, I was like angry at her, but I was like, no, she's right. Feel like all this while I've had her around, like I'm depending on her to leave. So I get upset. So because of what she said, and I didn't want her the relationship to just end like that. For the first time, she's like, I want to break up. I was like, okay, you got it. She was crying. I was like, yeah, we break up. So I left. Then I went back. I was like, why are you being ungrateful? This girl have been so, I mean, she's been there for me for a long time. Why do you want to do or end this relationship this way? So I felt ungrateful. I went back to her. I was like, it was a joke. But that was the beginning of the problem because she actually thought I broke up with her. I met her in Code Red in the night. She just saw me. She's like, hi. She left. She was doing her job because I was promoting the club she was working for. So somehow it got ended very, very terrible. Our relationship ended very terrible, which I never expected, and I was so hurt for nearly a year plus. I was a ghost in a human form, walking. I practically walked into a car on the road. That's when I knew that I need to get back to myself. Then God used somebody to touch me, to be like, look, Henry, you gotta get up. He's a guy I never really go along with very well before now. They call him Mayu, but it's Sunday Ugbe. He said to me that, look, you're an entertainer. You're not supposed to be looking dirty. You're supposed to be looking good. Like, you don't know who you are, you know. Those things he said, probably he was trying to get me up, but it inspired me, you know. When I went back, I was like, really? It's like I don't really know. I started doing things. I started working out. I started doing a lot of things. I doubled my work rate. I don't sleep. Each time I sleep for more than 4 hours, I feel like I'm lazy ass. So I get to do so much to get myself out. I watch videos. There's nothing I have not done to get me up. But all of this was not coming true because I still felt I could get myself up. Then God started working his way. God started sending things to me. Started sending, like on my own. Practically, I just play other music to keep me going. I just smoke weed, get my head down, to get my head off the thinking. But that was not what I needed. God started sending me gospel music. People like Tasha Webbs, Lepre, the song that says "Never Give Up." The songs. There's a guy called Steve or something. Steve is a Nigerian. The song that say how great you are. So I started doing those songs. I started playing those songs, and I started getting some inspiration. And somehow God rescued my life. And to make it even much better that God is real, God sent a missionary through a friend to me. And guess who this missionary was? Like an S general of Nigerian Army and a licensed pilot, Nigerian pilot, qualified one. When I met this man, he never looked like a general or someone who has flown an airplane. They showed me love. The love General or Brother Afia brought to me, they were like my parents coming to me, a child in need. Oh my God. The love, I became shocked that why would strangers just come to me? So they were teaching me way of life. They introduced CMFI books to me, and everything was just, so like, yeah, this is what I needed. At that point, I was also struggling with, should I continue or should I not? So along the way, my life, and I practically started seeing that God is doing something, that God was using all this situation to teach me a lesson in order that I would get back to him. Then I went back to the revelation I had many years ago when I was in school. When I was dreaming, it was so clear to me that God showed it to me that I was born great. And I'm a great man, that I will be a great man in the world, but I didn't believe myself. I went to pastors, to interpret. I don't want to I don't want to quote the scripture, but the scripture is still in my head today. The same number in 2 chapters. The same numbers in 2 chapters. So everyone I went to gave me the same interpretation at that time, that I was going to be a great person. I was like, I don't know. I went to school, but school had their own stories. I did so many things. So why? I have nothing to offer the world. So I decided to not follow those things. But at the end of the day, this man just met me and he told me so many amazing things that people have not told me for long. Because all everyone was telling me in Cambodia is that I'm selfish, I have ego, there's devil walking on my head, there's something blocking me, I'm not a nice person, I'm pretending, I'm doing everything. Whereas I'm working all my energy out for these people. Then I became aware a bit of who I am. I was like, yes, this is God. I started praying, I started reading books, I started reading CMA5 books, I started with Way of Life. When I read that Way of Life, it was everything in my life I was going through. Then I knew this was God. I became so sad that I've sold myself so cheap to these people that they have seen me all like nothing to them. So I withdrew. At that point, I withdrew from there. They started looking for me. But they're not saying it. I see them copying my work. I see them copy the things I do. You know, a man that look, it's a crime to not have money, actually. If somebody who don't have money, who have, like, you confused, you have nothing, your mind is confused, you feel like, wow, anything anyone tells you at that time, when you have no money in your hands, or you have nothing, you have nobody backing you or even supporting what you do. Even if I put something online, oh my God, sometimes I'm not comfortable putting my name on it. That I put the credit to other people just for them to like it, to make me feel comfortable. But when I found God, and God gave me the solution, then I realized that I am even the pillar that they were being hiding under. So I took steps, many steps back. Then I noticed that, and since I withdrew myself, I'm not boasting, with power of God, there has never been anything done in Cambodia till right now as I'm talking to you in terms of African entertainment. I was like, wow, so it has been me all this while. So I wanted to go back badly. Each time I want to go, it's always bad. Each time I want to go, something bad. The last show I had was so terrible to the point that I got into a fight, because the flight that I booked for the guest, I don't want to call his name, I want his name to be said. The guest I was inviting, the flight I booked for him, there was no money to pay all of it. I put my computer, which was more than the amount, and $100. The guy still went ahead and put it, because I'm in Nigeria, he said I was going to scam him. So he put my name on the internet, and even in Nigeria and all over Cambodia. I got really all the work I have done all these years, this man is just too. I didn't know that God was using those things to recycle me. So I got upset, and I'm really sorry about that action. I want to apologize to everyone who believed in my dream, everyone who have supported me, that I really let you guys down. Such thing will never happen again. I'm really sorry, and I apologize. And things went really bad. That the case got into the hands of police. And thank God, God is always be faithful. God sent Messiah to me. I went to all the Nigerian leaders, whatever. Nobody could go to an ordinary man for just $200. I mean, $100 and something. Nobody. All of them were looking for a pot. They even advised me to pass through the forest to another country, which I had promised my parents, my life, that I would never do. So somehow, somewhere, God sent a stranger to rescue my destiny, and I was able to raise the money within a time, paid all the money back, I got myself back, I came into it, and I was serving God, and that's how I'm here. Now I am talking to you here in the beautiful paradise of Kumain in Betwa, Cameroon. And to solve this thing to cut it short, because I have a flight to catch in a few hours. I'm going to Ghana from from Ghana. I'm staying for Ghana for 3 days, then after which I'm going to Nigeria, then before coming back to Cambodia. So I just want to say that there is true God, and God is real. And I pray to everyone who have not seen God yet to actually seek God with all their heart. That when you seek God with all your heart, God is always there. And no matter what you're going through, God uses the same difficult situation to train us for what is ahead for us. That you should never give up. You should hold on to your faith to God. That God is always there, and He will get you out of every ever trouble. And I'm not just telling you a story. If you're just watching this video now, I would advise that you play it back so that you can understand where this story started. That God is real and God is God. No matter what we're going through, we should never give up. Look at me here today. I have my own company registered. I'm wearing my shirt of my company. And today, in fact, since I've been in Cameroon, I have a clear confirmation of the vision God gave me. Few months ago or some times back, I dreamed of making this video in this place, in the video. I dream of it. That is the confirmation that God is real. God showed me all of these things many years ago, but I was not sure because I felt like I was hearing myself. I felt like I was seeing myself. I felt like I was doing so many things on my own that I don't know what came over me, But I love God. God knows that I love Him. No matter how much I've tried to be in the Word, but I love God. Right now, I love God. I want everyone watching this video to know that there is true God if you believe. And if you have not, find your way back to God and stick to God, because He is the only one who can help us in this life. Every other thing we think we can get from outside is just nothing. The end's very short. But if you stick to God, you have a longer lifespan, and your life, your testimony will transform other people. I pray that the Lord will visit as many that will be watching this video, that just trust God, believe in Him, and worship Him. Let your heart be pure. Remove yourself from everything that is not of God, and your life will be a blessing to many. Thank you very much. Thank you for you guys for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for everything. I'm so grateful to God. And guess what? Yesterday, I met the General Overseer of CMFI, and he prayed and laid his hand on me. He was very, very happy. And that is another testimony yet to come. God bless you. This is your boy, Henry Spice, founder of Alaska Spice Entertainment, all the way from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, speaking to you from Kume Betwa, in the eastern part of Cameroon, in Central West African country. Jesus is Lord. God bless you. Keep watching Alaska Spice TV. One love. And you must turn your way to God. God bless you.